Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am ranking more eyeshadow palettes. Like, how did we get here so fast? But before we get started, I just want to go ahead and say welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. But if you're an oldie but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley and I have a doctorate in pharmacy, and that's how you get Dr. Ash in her makeup. And I just really love makeup. Eyeshadow is my jam, but please call me Ash or Ashley. So like I said, I have more palettes because you know I test out so many palettes on my channel. Like how do we get here in just the last few weeks? So I do kind of know, like, some palettes kind of came out together. So, but let's go ahead. So I just want to go ahead and rank these palettes. The palette, I have 11 actually today. So I know the last time I did 10, but I feel that on my channel, I do a lot of first impressions slash, you know, multiple looks on my channel with all the palettes, so you can definitely get a sense of how the palette performs and what looks you can get out of the palette. But sometimes I'm not always so good with following up and letting you know, like, how I really feel about the palette once I've been using it off camera and what looks I've created. So I've been charging myself with doing a better job with that. So that's why I will go ahead with the ranking format. And this is kind of really like a palette update, but because I have so many, this kind of just lets you know, like, what's truly been my favorite. Now, the ranking system or the ranking videos are like nothing new. Kelsey Brianna J, Jen Loves Reviews, Samantha March, Net's Makeup Corner. So many content creators have done these ranking classifications for their palettes that they review. But it's a very good way, especially when you have tried so many palettes, and I've just embraced it. Like, you know what? I'm doing this YouTube thing, so my makeup collections get a little bit bigger and I'm testing out a lot of stuff, but I only buy the things that really interest me. So all of these palettes really interest me. Things I wanted to buy, have in my personal collection, because that's the way you know that I really love it. If I'm just buying stuff from my channel that doesn't really work for me, it's just going to end up sitting there and I've wasted my money since I buy my makeup myself. Not to mention, I just want to show you what I'm truly interested in. You know, that's when you're most authentic on your channel, I believe. Not to mention, you know, sometimes you'll find something like it'll just spark your interest, but just shopping just to have content, that doesn't really work for me at all. So, like I said, I want to go ahead and get in with this palette ranking. Now, I know I said this last time, but this one was really, really hard because, I mean, like, literally, some of these palettes have been like my favorite releases all year. There has been a lot of good makeup in 2020 considering all that went on in the world. So I can just only imagine what it would have been if the world wasn't going through COVID-19. But let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is so hard. Just because I rank something lower doesn't mean I don't necessarily like it. All of the palettes that I'm ranking today, I generally like. I don't dislike any of them, but if I line them up against other palettes, they just had to kind of fall down. So that's what it is. So today I have 11 because I tried out something else in between. So I was like, you know, we're going to throw it in. So we're going to kick it off at number 11, and it's going to be the Makeup by Mario Rosy Glam. Okay. So here she is right here. It's a beautiful quad, but I'm not so much of a quad person. When I think of small eyeshadow palettes, I usually like 6 pans because you get more versatility versus just the 4 shades. But for $25, I think that this is an excellent performing quad. I have used it a couple times off camera. I have no problem creating a look. You get a look very easy, very effortlessly. And these are the tones that I tend to gravitate for. Rosy, mauve-y, more purpley, not so much mauve-y, but more purpley, dusty tones. And I feel like this shade right here, which is called just Rosy Glam 1, RG1, it's very unique. It has a little bit of duochrome flip. It has kind of like a blurple feel. I really like blurple shadows. And then I also like how you have RG4. It's a nice rosy, maroony, burgundy-ish matte, and well, not matte, shimmer, but it kind of performs as a matte, so it does give you a little bit more variety versus just the one matte right here. And it definitely has this pop of silver champagne-y shade in here. But overall, I feel like the value of this was great. It's $25. I think it's priced just perfectly. I felt like the other palettes in his line were a little bit too much for what I was interested in. I didn't want to pay $50 for that, but I had no problem spending $25 on this. And I think it's an excellent quad, something you can pop in your bag. You're going to get, you know, a great look, but I feel like the looks you get is really like the same look, just in a different variation, if that makes sense. So the next quad I have coming in at number 10 is this little baby right here. And this is a Tom Ford quad. This is my first time trying Tom Ford. And this is the quad. I'm going to pop out the little shadow applicators in Photosynthesex. Now, I had never tried Tom Ford because his quads are $88, but I was able to purchase this at Off Saks Fifth for $44. It is still floating around on that website if you are interested in it, because it is in the process of being discontinued. Now, I feel like this quad is very fun. It's pretty versatile, but still, because it's a quad, you're going to get some variation of kind of like the same look. But what stands out to me is this turquoise or this teal matte shade and this teal shimmer shade. And once again, you have like this berry tone, aubergine, burgundy matte, or shimmer, or yeah, shimmer. It's not really metallic, but more of like a satin shimmer shade that also works well in the crease, just like when I was talking about with the Rosy Glam palette. So I really like this color story. I think it's really pretty. I think it's special occasion. It's somewhat everyday when you just kind of pair these two shades together. But I really like it, and I enjoyed the quality of it. So I do kind of get the hype of the Tom Ford. He does have a very nice formula. I know the wet dry formula is even better from what I've heard. But it's still, for me, it's like, it's still a quad. So it's still like, I can only do so much because it's just 4 shadows. And I really feel like when you just add those extra 2 shadows in and make something a 6-pan, it just really changes the game up. Right, coming in at number 9 is this bad boy right here. So I wasn't even going to buy this, but then I fell on the train and I was like, let me just get it because I'm going to regret it. So I did pick this up while it was on sale, and this is the Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette. Now, I absolutely do not like the name Trio Chrome because people are like Trio Chrome. It sounds crazy, even though we know it's 3 multi-chromes in the palette. Now, so since this is a multi-chrome palette, I do wish there was like maybe one more multi-chrome, and I understand she built the color stories off of it. I think the palette is very beautiful. I'm more prone to liking the top row, quite honestly, because I'm a fan of green shadows. Obviously, I have green on my eyes right now, but I do think that the trio chrome shades that or the multi-chrome shades that she picked were very nice. The only one I like, Kinetic, it is very pretty. I do like the looks that you can get with it, and I have worn this off camera. I found this palette to be very easy to perform. You do get some great different type of looks. And when I did my video on it, I did kind of switch it up. So I put the green, which was a Scarab, and I do have that in the liquid chromium formulation also. And I put it with these shadows, and then I put this with that. So you can get a lot of versatility out of this look. You don't have to stick within the color stories. And I do also appreciate the mattes in this palette. You would think that these mattes wouldn't really work on my skin complexion because they're so pastel, but you know, Natasha Denona has a great formula, and so I feel like it's just something different, and the mattes perform very well and just kind of give a different look. It's something that you probably weren't thinking about every day when you're putting these particular shades together. But I would say that Kinetic is a very dark multi-chrome, and that one is kind of lackluster. But overall, I do really enjoy this palette. I like how the packaging looks. I just don't like the name. And I feel like it's a different release for holiday, because I feel like holiday doesn't always have to scream like snow fairies and ribbons and bows, but it could just be something kind of unexpected to just pop up, and you're just like, well, where did this come from? Oh, it's holiday. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Coming in at number 8, we have the Grandeur palette by Colourpop. This little baby, first of all, I have 2 of these dark bloom palettes. These were gorgeous. First of all, can we just appreciate the packaging? Look at it. I mean, it's just so nice. It's beautiful. It goes with the theme, and the flowers are embossed. The name is embossed over. I mean, it is gorgeous. The theme is continued when you open up the palette, and you have a beautiful neutral palette. You do have one pressed glitter, but it's like, you know, these palettes I think were about $15, maybe less, 12, because we're talking about Colourpop. But the formula is great. I feel like this is back to that great formula that we love by Colourpop, where it has, you know, just very blendable mattes. They're pigmented. You have great shimmers. I really do like this shade called Monaco. You know, I'm a fan of greens. It's like a deep and dark green slash brown color. Forest green. It does have that sequence formula. This particular palette only has 2 of the sequence formula, meaning that it has the glitter inside of the mattes. I feel like the shade Need is really pretty. It's duochrome, but it's a light duochrome, so you can get a lot of versatility out of it. Same with the shade Haas, like the lighting, it's so bright, it's throwing my lighting off. And the shade Haas is beautiful. You get very neutral glam looks out of this. So if you're a person that does like neutral palettes, but this brown neutral might not be your typical everyday aesthetic like me, because I'm more of a berry tone neutral type of person every day, I found like this palette just really fits in nicely with my collection because it just brings something different. The shadows are so nice. You get nice performance, and like it's beautiful to look at it. I mean, just look at it. Rolling in with number 7, we have BH Cosmetics Blueberry Muffin. Now, I must say, BH Cosmetics just came out of like left field. It just was like, oh, okay. Like, you know what? It's like, y'all having a bad 2020? Hold my beer. I'm finna show you. BH Cosmetics is having a great 2020. I've never seen so many people talk about BH Cosmetics on YouTube. And I've been an avid YouTube watcher way before I joined the YouTube community. And I'm just like, nobody. You know, every once in a while they'll get some play with maybe like Take Me to Brazil was very popular. They had the Carly Bible when they have maybe an influencer collab. When I think of It's My Ray Ray, and then I know the Zodiacs did pretty well with them, like the bigger Zodiac palettes, but when they started doing the individual ones, it was just like, okay. But they have been knocking it out the park. The Sweet Shop, everybody was trying to get their hands on. Blueberry Muffin has been out of stock. This palette, I mean, they have just really surprised me. And I really like this palette. You have very fun pops of colors for your mattes. The mattes work well. Some of them you do have to kind of just punch in and then blend out the edges. You know, don't just go in sweeping them across. We're talking about the bolder mattes, like the matte So Good and Cheat Day. But even Cheat Day, when I did my video, blended out very well. You have lots of neutrals to pair with your blues, and it's a little bit cooler tone, so I do like that. The shimmers perform very well. You have topper shimmers, you have full body shimmers like the shade Tempting. Gorgeous. One of those type of duochrome shades that's just kind of been taking the market by storm. So if you wanted something like that in an affordable version, I would recommend this palette. I believe it was out of stock. It might be back when they just did that massive restock for Sweet Shop. But you have great mattes like 350. You have the Stud Muffin. You have very good, I mean, the palette is just well balanced to me. It's like, it's blue, and it's neutral at the same time, where it's not just like, oh, it's a pop of blue. Because I don't feel like it's a pop of blue at all. Like, you can look at it and be like, this is a blue palette. But at the same time, it's very well balanced with the neutral, so you can get a wide variety of looks out of it. And I think it's stunning. It's so cute. It's so affordable. I'm really digging this. I think for 16 shades, they couldn't go wrong. The only shade I don't like in here is the shade Fluffy. This one right here, they're real light mattes on my skin complexion. It's like, no, don't even try, because it's too much white in it. It's just too much white. It needs more peach. It needs more peach, and then this would be wonderful. Like, I get where they were going with this, but it just needs more peach because it does come off ashy. But other than that, I really enjoy this. So this was such a hard decision. I really did not know where to rate this palette, but like I said, I've had so many favorites this time. And like some of these, when you see my favorite palettes video of this year, they're going to be in here. So coming in at number 6, we have the Waiting Room palette this is the Beetlejuice collection with Melt Cosmetics. Like, first of all, packaging, A+. Melt. always kills it on the packaging. When I think about my collection and who has the best packaging, Pat McGrath, Melt, always. They have some of the best packaging. Is somebody else I'm missing? Oh, Kaleidos. They, like, those three, like, just sticks out like best packaging ever. Attention to detail. Look, when you open it, you have this card right here, which is like the film room with Lydia. So you have a big wide mirror that you can see like my room in. And then you have this gorgeous palette. I mean, this palette is so pretty. I love berries. I love deep dark berries. I love gray mattes. I told you, like, gray mattes to me is like, you know, that friend you don't see a lot, but every time you see them, like, you just pick up like you never left each other. That's how I feel about gray mattes. I love them. I love red shadows. I have wore Song Girl to work, like, and I, you know, put a little bit of no exit in the crease, but because this palette is so deep, I did just bring in one of my favorite brown transition shades just to get some versatility out of the palette. You can wear this palette by itself. You can add other colors in. I think it's fabulous. It's a little bit more pricey, but honestly, when we're talking about, you know, Melt Cosmetics, I don't think it's no more expensive than what their price points usually are, okay? The shimmers, these shimmers perform so well for me. I didn't have any problems with the mattes. The only one that's kind of like, is Juno. I do like the shade Sandworm. It's white, but what I used it to do is kind of to tone these colors down so I can just get a little bit more versatility out of the shades. So I felt like that was really smart. The black is nice. I don't have a problem with this palette. I think it's gorgeous. It's unique to my collection. And I love, like, when Melt comes out with these out of the box holiday palettes, like what I was just saying about the Natasha Denona. The packaging is hard case. I mean, it's just, it's a theme. I like it. They executed it wonderfully. And I have really been loving the Beetlejuice collection. Coming in at number 5 is the Naughty Nudes by Huda Beauty. So when this launched at Sephora during the sale, I ran out that day and got it. And I am so happy I picked up this palette. I've been having so much fun. And this shade Slippery doesn't even... And the shade Slippery right here, that don't even exist for me. The only time I tried that out is just for you guys when I did my 3 looks with this palette. All right, my memory card was full, so I had to change her. And I don't even know where I left off. But the point is, my favorite shade in this particular palette is the Passion shade. It is a beautiful multi-chrome. It is one of those cream formulas, so it lays down just right, and you can definitely see the shift. It's like a blue purple shift, but what makes this one so unique to me, I feel like you see more of the blue versus more of the other shades that have been coming out recently where you see more of the purple shift, and I really like that. It's very easy to lay down. This one is a nice neutral creamy brown. These mattes, you have, so I feel like you have a lot of different transition shades to go in with. You have different options to deepen the crease, so I appreciate that because you're not always just stuck with the same 2-3 matte layouts, because you have this, you have this, and some of these mattes come off a little bit deeper on the skin complexion. So you have a lot of different mattes, and you have a lot of different shimmer options. I think Huda really knocked it out the park. The names are a little questionable, but you know, I look at it, I don't look at it. Some of the names are, I don't know. It's a little much, but it doesn't necessarily bother me. But if this was like a younger person picking it up, I'd be like, But the only shade that is just like a no-go for me is Slippery. But if you stop doing that mess, like, your palettes would be A+. But then I guess everybody just expects that from you. But look, you come out with a regular formula palette, everybody be like, okay, Huda, we see you. But these textures are really unique, and I've been really loving this palette. So that is the Naughty Nudes. Coming in at number 4 is Juvia's Place Wahala palette. Oh my gosh, like, they just dropped this. Sometimes I like how Juvia's Place does that. Like, they just drop stuff and then sometimes I don't. I'm like, well, wait, you didn't even give me no time to prepare. But they just dropped this. I'm like, y'all ain't gonna put no swatches out. You don't even have an influence with some swatches. So I literally just bought this off of faith. And let me tell you, I was so happy. And then let me tell you what Juvia's Place had the nerve to do. They put 2 duochromes in here. Didn't even tell anybody. Talking about fake and this shade right here, money. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. So you have so many options, so much variety when this comes to this palette. You have a little bit of neutral. You got some deep, dark, and sultry with the purples and the pinks. You got all the shades of blue. You got blue, but these are more periwinkle. You got the teal blues, and then you just got like the straight up teals and greens with this. And then you have your silvers. The only thing I don't really care for is the silver row. And I don't really care for these 2 shades right here. I think it was just okay with these shades. They definitely needed a deeper, darker silver if they were going to continue on with the silver, because these 2, they just look the same on the eye. This one is great because it actually has a gold shift to it. And then this one is more mid-tone, but something should have happened here. Now you do have 4 pressed glitters in the palette. Now this particular pressed glitter 419 does have more of a base color to it, but I can kind of just skip over the pressed glitters. It's okay, but you have so many great matte options. You have so many great shimmer options. I mean, like, the possibilities with this palette is just endless. I think they knocked it out the park. All the mattes perform very well. All the shimmers perform very well. Some are a little bit more tightly pressed, but you still get great payoff. And let me tell you, this formulation is like top notch, just like how some of those brands who are really known for the duochromes are doing it. I mean, the slip on it is so creamy, it's vibrant, you can see the shift. And I want to say this palette retail for about $39 because it's bigger, but if it has those 2 duochromes, that's amazing, because first of all, you know, some shades like this, like if you were to order something like this from Cleona, it would cost you $25 hands down. I have been loving this palette. I think it's so gorgeous. One of my favorite palettes of the year for sure. And I really like the follow-up. I love the regular Wahala, and this is the Wahala too. I think it's just so pretty. So well done. Coming in at number 3, we have BH Cosmetics Avocado Toast. Oh my gosh. So this palette, like I said about, you know, the blueberry muffin, if I keep it real with myself, I really enjoyed this particular palette more. This color called Green Juice, just like, I was like knocking the lighting off. This color called Green Juice knocked my socks off. I was just like, it's so pretty. You have the shade Extra. You have great mattes. This one right here, you can kind of base your look in it. If you're kind of afraid to go in with colorful mattes, you can kind of put this in the crease, and then you can pop your green shadows on. You have more light options. You have more grungy options. You have just full out green options. The only shades I don't like Over Easy. I don't like Pink Salt, and it's for the same reasons that I just said regarding the blueberry muffin palette when we're talking about that shade Fluffy, is because it's too much white in that shadows, too much, and it just looks ashy. It's I don't know what on my skin complexion. So no, we're not going to do with it, but it's enough options in here to make this palette work. The shade Expensive is beautiful. It's like, it's a very beautiful rose gold color. The names are so cute, just like the blueberry muffin. I'm just really digging this palette, but you know, I like green shadows, so green shadow, I mean, clearly I got on gray eyeshadow right now, you know, but this is good. This is really good. I've been enjoying this. So affordable. Great pops of green if you're looking for something just to add a little something to your collection. And it's a green in there for everybody. It's a green in there that looks great on everybody's collection. It's a green on there if you're like, you want to stick your toe in the green, but you're not really sure how to do it. It's something here for you. Coming in at number 2, we have the Baroque palette. Oh my gosh, I love this palette. It is so beautiful. I was like, oh, excuse me, Colourpop. Okay, I see you with the cool tones. I see you stepping out of your own box. You know, I mean, look at this. Gorgeous. It is a gray, blue, little hint of lavender cool tone palette. It is so perfect. The mattes are blendable. They're creamy. They're deep. They're pigmented. You do have quite a few more of those sequence formula. I'm not a big fan of the sequence formula because like the glitter just goes everywhere and it's just like, what's the point? But the base color of those sequence formula mattes are gorgeous, okay? So unique. The shade Secret, Lavender Gray. Then you have your standard gray up here with BB. And then you also have like this nice eggplant brown shade. And you have this blue shade. It's a blue deep matte. You have some very beautiful standout colors in this shade. Not to mention, you only have 2 shimmers in this palette right here. And they're both duochromes. Both have different effects. They're so pretty. I do wish there was like maybe one more shimmer that was a little bit more full body versus being a duochrome, kind of like how we have in the Grandeur palette. But they knocked it out the park. This is one of the most unique palettes in my collection. I think it's absolutely stunning and it's just been so great to play with this. And once again, the packaging is killing it. So we are down to number 1 and it's the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today. And it is the Milk Cosmetics Recently Deceased palette from the Beauty Juice collection. So this is the mate to the Waiting Room. And I chose this as number 1 because I love green shadows. I love the burgundies. But I felt like overall, if you're going to pick one palette, this was probably my favorite. And I felt like this one was a little bit more approachable because you have the greens and you have the purples. But once again, this is the little palette insert. Packaging A++. The color choice, I have not had a problem with any of these shadows. Like, yes, you do have a little bit more fallout with this color right here, which is Paranormal, but today I didn't really have much fallout. Like, I just packed a little bit on the shadow after I laid down Neurotic. I put Neurotic all down and then I went in with Paranormal, and then I just used this matte right here. This matte is so perfect. It is like the best grungy yellow green matte I have in my collection. It's gorgeous. Now, some of the shades do look a little similar, but I think it's a placement for everything, you know, and it's priced right along with Milk pricing. They are a little bit more pricey when it comes to their shadows, but the shimmers are great for me. I really like the shade Recently Deceased. This matte is really beautiful. You want to deepen it up, you can jump into your what is it? This is, you can jump into your Waiting Room palette and deepen it up. So all the shadows play so well together. All of the color combinations you can even get with this palette alone is great. I felt like this palette is a little bit more approachable for people if you're going to pick one, because the other palette is so deep, dark, and smoky. This one's a little bit more bright and vibrant. But overall, I've been loving it. Like, this chartreuse shade I have on my eyes, I'm living for it. And yes, I'm going to work just like this, okay? I have like started caring a little less about some of my eyeshadow choices. I'm sick of just doing golds and browns and berries. So within reason, I've been just doing some other colors. And I dig it. I mean, like, I have, some of my technicians have purple hair. They have, I mean, like, literally. And I don't think it's anything wrong with it because the culture is changing. But literally, one technician has black on this side, and it's, right now I think it's blue. Sometimes it's green on this side. One time it was cotton candy. That was my favorite when she did that. But it was like all the, it's a pharmacist that has a short haircut, and it's like hot purple. So I could wear some green eyeshadow that washes off, okay? They're going to have all the different color choices, you know what I mean? So I think that sometimes makeup, like, you have to be cautious and cognizant of like what your area is and where you work in the office culture. But I feel like the culture is kind of changing at my job, and as long as I'm carrying myself in a professional manner and I'm not too wild and crazy, like, I could wear this to work. It'll be okay. And right now we're wearing holiday flair. We got Christmas tree glasses. We need some hope. We need some cheer. It's been a lot going on. And one of the company I work for, you know, we're going to be administering the vaccine. So it's about to be crazy. So they just like, look, come to work, be in good spirits. just show up almost. So like I said, I'm gonna wear me some green eyeshadow. Like, I wore that BH palette to work. So some of these pictures that I'm gonna pop in for you, these are looks that I've literally gone to work with. I've kind of played them down. Sometimes I brought in a brown just to, you know, soften it up in certain areas. But back to this little buddy right here. I love it, and that's why I had to rank it at number 1. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And if I was just talking about all the palettes right here that we talked about, they are so pretty, and some of my favorite palettes of the year, like hands down. And it's except for maybe exclusion of 1 or 2, but these, like the Q4, the end of Q3, Q4 palettes were coming through. Like, yes, like we got this thing figured out. We can put our stuff back into production because of COVID, and some of the stuff they came with was absolutely special. And I think some of these companies knew that because they haven't been able to release all year. So it was like, whatever we hit you with, it needs to be good. But I really enjoy these palettes that I've chose right here. Let me know if you picked them up. I know you guys have seen my videos on all of these palettes. If you want to refer back, they're up there for your viewing pleasure, for the inspiration and the looks. Let me know down in the comments. Out of all these palettes, what were your favorite? I want to know, and I want to talk to you down in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because I would love to have you here in my little makeup family, and we are growing every day. So thank you so much if you have recently subscribed, or if you've been here since the beginning of this journey. It means a lot. I hope everybody has a great holiday season. Have a safe holiday season. Wear a mask if you're going out. Be careful going out, okay? It's so serious out here. I have to say this because I'm in the medical profession, even though this is my makeup channel, but I care about you guys. Even though there's a vaccine, let me tell you, you cannot slip up right now, okay? Because it's going to be a moment before you can even get the vaccine, and the vaccine it ain't going to be able to cure you if you get the COVID right now, okay? I got to talk to you in plain terms as I talk to my patients. Like, look, it ain't gonna be able to help you right now, okay? That just not gonna work. And they're like, okay, Ashleigh, I got it. So be safe. Have a great holiday season. I do have some more content coming for you guys. Yeah. So you already know what time it is. It's time for the chair dance. Hey, chair dance. Chair dance. Chair dance. All right, y'all. Bye.